middle school very often, but I heard there's a birthday today. Where's Hayden at? Right over here. Are you guys all ready? Should we sing happy birthday to Hayden? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. And there's any other birthdays? Happy birthday to you too. All right, well, you guys ready to worship today? All right. You ready, Ken? All right, let's do this. Let's praise God today.
Created from dust, you came and you lived among us. You took on a frame, you walked in our pain. Now you're taking us higher. You stepped into time, you laid down your life to save us. You took all the shame, on the cross it was laid. Now you're taking us higher. We go from glory to glory to glory. To never be the same, never be the same. We go from glory to glory to glory. Would forever change, forever change. You call me a friend, born into your endless kingdom. By the blood I was made, no longer a slave. Now you're taking us higher. Go from glory to glory to glory. Never be the same, never be the same. We go from glory to glory to glory. We'll forever change, forever change. Until we reach that day, love conquers everything. We'll cry and sing, holy, holy. And when we see that day, we're standing face to face. We'll shout and sing, holy, holy. Until we reach that day, love conquers everything. We'll cry and sing, holy, holy. And when we see that day, we're standing face to face. We'll shout and sing, holy, holy. You took on the grave, so not even death can shake us. The victory's won, heaven is come. Now you're taking us higher. You're taking us higher. We go from glory to glory to glory. Never be the same, never be the same. You take us higher, higher, higher. With forever change, we're forever changing. Forever changing. We go from glory to glory to glory. You'll never be the same. You'll never be the same. So you take us higher and higher and higher. We're forever changed, forever changed. We go from glory to glory to glory. We go from glory to glory to glory. You take us higher, higher, higher. We're forever changed, forever changed. We give a hand of praise to our God today. Bring it all, peace. Storms surrounding me, let it break. That you remain still. Call the sea to still, the rage in me to still. Every wave that you make, Jesus, Jesus. You will make the darkness tremble, Jesus, Jesus. Silence fear, Jesus, Jesus. You will make the darkness tremble, Jesus, Jesus. Call these bones to live, call these lungs to sing once again. I will praise Jesus, Jesus. You will make the darkness tremble, Jesus, Jesus. Silence feels, Jesus, Jesus. You will make the darkness tremble, Jesus, Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, you will make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, silence fail. Jesus, Jesus, you will make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus. Your name is light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is light forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. Jesus, Jesus. You make the darkness tremble, Jesus, Jesus. Silence fear, Jesus, Jesus. You make the darkness tremble, Jesus, Jesus. It's a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is a light forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is a light. the shadows can't deny. Your name will not be overcome. Your name is life forever lifted high. Your name will not be overcome. Jesus, Jesus. You make the darkness tremble, Jesus, Jesus. Silence fear, Jesus, Jesus. You make the darkness tremble, Jesus, Jesus. God, we just come before you tonight with hearts of humility and honor. God, that we get to stand before your throne to worship your great and mighty name. And God, as we go into a time of teaching, Lord, would you just open our hearts to hear what you have to say tonight, Lord, that your word would sit heavily and that we would be able to find truth and promise in your law, Lord. In your holy name we pray. Amen. All right, let's head back out to the gym.
Stay right next to me, okay? Push hard. Come on. Keep coming.
Way to go, way to go.
Keep coming. Keep coming. Thank you. And then you got the door.
Nice job on the page.
People are just getting a little motion sick on the campus.
All right, ready to push it?
Say hello to everybody online. All right, keep going. Oh, we're losing cords. We're losing cords. All right. Now we're crooked. Hello. Online people are just going for a ride. Action. I'm gonna do. Man, that's crazy business, moving all our online people out here. But I'm glad that they can join us too. Now, it's game time. Are you guys ready for this? So, I just have to give you guys all a little update. I don't have the actual scores with me tonight, but I do have to tell you that it's close. Every team is still in it. And we have this week, and we have one more week after this, where we'll be in large group with a game for a chance to earn points. And then after that, our life group middle school Olympic winner will be crowned. So get your game faces on, get ready for our game today. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are on Instagram, or maybe you check out your parents' Instagram. They show you what we're doing on our Impact Instagram stuff. But during the month of March, we had a little March Madness of our own, and it was called Morning March Madness, where a bunch of cereals faced off head to head, and you voted for your favorite cereals. Now, out of that entire bracket, Cinnamon Toast Crunch came out as the winner of our whole Morning March Madness bracket. So whether that's a favorite of yours or not, It's all good. But I thought it would be fun then to incorporate Cinnamon Toast Crunch into our game for tonight. So, what's going to happen is one of your leaders has a Ziploc baggie that contains all of the letters that are in the name Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Just like this, they even look just like that. So what's going to happen is you guys as a group, I'm going to set a timer for maybe like 5 minutes. We'll see how that goes. If that feels long, then we'll cut it short. But I'm going to set a timer, and you have to see how many words you can make out of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So because there are 2 C's, there's actually 3 C's, that means you can use C 3 times. But since there's only 1 S, you can only use S 1 time per word, okay? Does that make sense? You guys have questions? What's your question? Yes, you can leave out letters. So it can be 2-letter words, it can be 3-letter words, whatever you find. And you don't have to use those letters. Those are just there for you to help if it helps you visualize. What's your question, Valentine? Hey, if those are words that you can find in there, yes. Potentially, but because of COVID, unfortunately, we cannot. Now, hey, one more quick reminder. You guys generally do an awesome job of this, but I just want to remind you guys, as you're sitting in your groups, make sure that you guys are keeping your mask on over your nose and mouth for the entire time of the night. Keep those on so that we can be safe and still meet here. So I'm going to start the timer. And we'll see, and your leaders also have a pen and paper to be able to write these down. So, on your marks, get set, go.
I thought you could actually. How many words?
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, you're not getting those two.
Yeah, not so bad. Yeah, I mean, not so bad. They can't eat it here anyways because they have to stay home.
All right, you guys got 30 seconds left.
1,546 words.
But no. That's I mean, there's.
All right, time is up. All right. Leaders, you guys can tally that up. You guys can tally up how many words you have. How many words that you came up with. Do you guys want to hear how many words each group got? Okay. All right, just checking. All right, are we ready to get see how many you guys each got? Sorry, I'm also trying to get this set up ready to go. Whoa. All right. I'm also leaders. I'm going to have you guys, so I have the list and remember the number. If you guys can write which grade and gender you guys are on your sheets, and I'll collect those so that I have them. All right. 6th grade girls, how many words did you find? 50. All right. 6th grade boys. 35. All right. 7th grade girls? 53. 7th grade boys? 53. 53 or 56? We got some confusion there. All right. 8th grade girls? 75. And 8th grade boys? 59. Hey, Pete, how many combinations were there when we Googled it?
Over 1,500.
Over 1,500 apparently combinations that you can find. So, woo! All right. With that, now, all right, hey guys, here's the thing. Obviously, it's fun to play a game with the letters of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but I know that you guys all would much rather eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So I do have Cinnamon Toast Crunch for each of you guys. But you have go sit through the lesson first. Yeah, you didn't think it was coming that easy to you guys, did it? All right, and also with our social media thing that we did on Instagram, people got a chance to enter into a drawing every time they voted. And at the end, over all of the rounds, we had over 500 people that voted across all of those rounds. And our winner came from not high school, but from middle school. So our middle school winner for our Cinnamon Toast Crunch prize pack goes to Ella Engelhardt, who I know is not here tonight, but we're gonna drop off some goodies for her, all sorts of Cinnamon Toast Crunch things that I found. So thanks for those that participated. And if you guys have social media, if you guys are on Instagram, be sure to follow us because we do lots of fun things. Or if your parents have Instagram and you don't, say, hey, mom, dad, can you guys follow Impact and show me what they decide to post? Because again, we do a lot of fun things on there. All right, you guys. Well, like I mentioned earlier with our games, we only have a couple of impacts left before the end of the school year, which is crazy that we're already here. So tonight, we're going to be diving into a new series, and it's going to be our last series of this school year, if you can believe it. So we have lots of fun things that we're planning on for the summer as well. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that stuff. We'll have some fun hangout times. We'll have some times with lots of exciting games and challenges. We'll have worship time. We'll have missions opportunities, all sorts of things for you guys to engage with over the summer. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. So now I'm going to dive in, and I have to start off with a question. How many of you guys have ever got stuck after church because your parents seem to keep talking and talking and you can't make it out the door? Yes, I have been there. I know what that's like. And now that happens to me a lot, not because my parents are stuck talking, but because I'm stuck talking. And actually, it's one of the pieces of my job that I really enjoy is that after church, I get to hang out, say hi to people, check in, see how they're doing, and just catch up and chat with them. And for you guys that are here on the weekends when big church is happening, if you guys want to chat, like, come say hi to me. I'd love to talk with you. And you know what? Even if I'm talking with somebody else, if I see you standing there, like you want to talk with me or you have something you want to share with me, like I'm going to excuse myself from that conversation to talk with you guys. And that's not because this other person is less important, but it's because you guys are my people. Like, I have a relationship with you guys, and I love you guys, and I love getting to talk with you guys. So if that's the case, like you guys have special access. It's almost like you get a fast pass to the front if you guys want to have a conversation with me because we have this relationship. And when we have a relationship with somebody, it changes communication that we have with that person. Relationships give us access, or maybe gives us more comfortability using that access to talk with somebody. The closer you are with somebody, oftentimes the less you actually have to say to them. Have you guys ever experienced that? Like maybe you have a friend that you can communicate like solely through memes. Like if you're texting with them, you can send them a meme and like they know exactly what you're talking about. Or you have that like, or maybe if you're in person, like you give them that one look and you're like, and they know like instantly, they're like, oh, okay, I know what she means like that. Like you don't even have to use words sometimes with our communication. We communicate all of the time to people in all sorts of different ways. So now I'm going to ask for your guys' participation a little bit. You're going to have to yell it out loud so I can hear your answers. But what are different ways that you guys communicate with people in your lives? FaceTime? What was it? Through your body language? Yes. Body language again? All right, what else? Sign language? Yep. Google Chat? Yes. What else? Words, yes. Talking. I heard something back here. Anything? No? Okay. Any other ways you communicate? Yeah. Text? Yep. Memes, yes. One of my favorite ways to communicate. Discord, yes. Marshall, what was it? Emojis, yes. There are so many different ways that we communicate with people. Now, based on some of the answers that you guys gave me, I think the best way to communicate with people, especially accurately, is when we're face to face, because we talked about things like body language, that when you're sending a text, you can't always communicate through, unless you're using memes. That definitely helps us a little bit in that. But there's also, we can talk on the phone. I don't know how many of you guys actually do that anymore, like actually call somebody. I mean, FaceTime is similar as well. I know that I still like calling my parents every now and again. Like, once you guys go off to college, be sure to call your parents. Just FYI right now. I'm just going to tell you that now. Write it in your notes, stick it in your pocket. I know you don't need to know that now. But that's one of the ways that we communicate. And maybe now you're more likely to communicate over text or DMs of some sort or Discord as you're gaming. All of these ways are ways that we communicate. And another important thing in our communication, which wasn't mentioned, but our tone, how we communicate. Because we might say to somebody like, "What do you need help with, Mom?" Or it might be, "Oh, what do you need help with, Mom?" Like, I'm communicating the same thing with my words, but my tone says something totally different. We all know how to communicate. It's something that we've learned for a really long time. Now, if I asked you guys to find somebody in the room, a friend that's here tonight, maybe a leader, whatever, and asked you guys to talk about whatever you wanted to for 5 minutes, I bet you guys would have no problems with that whatsoever. Maybe a couple of you guys would be like, "Oh, I'm not quite sure." But how many of you guys think you could do that? If I said, go talk with a friend for 5 minutes, like no issues. Yeah, I think most of the hands in this room are up, that you know how to talk with somebody and it would come fairly easy to you. But if I ask the same thing, if you could spend 5 minutes and pray, how many hands would be up? I don't think there would be quite as many hands up who would be able to pray for 5 minutes. And prayer is simply communicating with God, communicating something that we've learned how to do since we were very, very little. And yet so many of us are so uncomfortable with knowing how to talk with God. And so that's why we're going to be doing this series, this next series on prayer, is how do we talk with God? So whenever I would start a conversation with my dad, a lot of times it starts very simply and it just says, "Hey, Dad," like whether that be me texting him or when I was younger and I would ask him a question in person, or even I remember when I was in middle school or maybe elementary, I can't remember exactly when, but my dad got me this journal. And in this journal, we would write letters back and forth to each other. I still have this journal today. And a lot of those entries started with like, "Hey, Dad," and then I would go on to tell him whatever it is that I had to tell him. And talking to God doesn't have to be any different than talking to anybody else. A lot of times my prayer starts with the same words, the same starting that I would start a conversation with my dad. And I would say, hey God, or even, hey Father. Like, that is how I would start, because it's just communicating with somebody that we're close to, somebody we have a relationship with. That's what prayer is in its very simplest of form. So we've been training our whole lives for this, and yet sometimes we act like prayer is this secret formula that we have to learn and we have to master and figure out exactly the right words to say. But Jesus doesn't tell us that these are the words you have to pray. He gives us examples of how we can pray, but there's no secret formula to it. If you're a Christian, then you have a very special relationship with God. He calls you his own child. And just like I can come to my dad and say, hey, Dad, and talk to him about whatever I need to talk to him, we can go to God in that same matter. He loves you and he wants to hear from you. He doesn't want you to wait and say, oh, I'll pray later, or I'm going to wait and figure out what to say first and make sure I have the perfect words for my prayer and then I'll pray. Or he doesn't want you to go to someone else completely and just not talk to him because you're going to talk to somebody else instead. He wants you to come to him right away with whatever you have for him. Now, I'm going to read a section from Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 through 16. It says this: therefore, since we have a high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold fast to our confession. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who has been tempted in every way as we are, yet without sin. Therefore, let us approach the throne of grace with boldness, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in time of need. So this is saying that Jesus, he is our high priest, and we should hold tightly to our faith in him. And the writer is also saying here that we don't have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weakness, which means we have a high priest who is able to empathize with us, and he does. Now, the dictionary defines empathy in this way. It's the action of understanding, being aware of, being sensitive to, and vicariously experiencing the feelings, thoughts, and experience of others. So this means that Jesus understands, that he is aware of, that he's sensitive to, and experiences the feelings that you are experiencing. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I just want to talk to somebody who's like been through what I've been through, who understands what I'm feeling. And I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but maybe you're having a conversation with somebody and they say, I know how you feel. And sometimes they don't actually really know how you feel. They haven't walked through those same situations, but maybe they have. And it's so great when we have those people who have walked through what we've walked through, who can empathize with us, and that is who Jesus is. He empathizes with us. He understands our pain and our weaknesses. He is that friend for us. He truly knows how it feels. He was tempted just like we are tempted. He understands what that is like, so he can understand whatever we're struggling with. So since Jesus is our high priest, since he's been raised from the dead and ascended into heaven, proving that he is God, since he understands and cares about what we feel and experience, we can and should go directly to him with our cares. Like this says, we can enter into his throne room and speak to him. Now, not everybody has that kind of access to a king. But you know who does? His children. And that's who we are. We are a beloved child of the King. And so we are able to approach him with whatever we have to say. And we can be confident of this because we know that he's real. We know that he's listening. We know that he cares. And we know that he'll never betray us. There's nothing that we can tell him that will surprise him. He knows it all already. Before we ask him for something, before we confess something to him, he knows it all, so nothing is going to surprise him. And we can go to him confidently and tell him what we're feeling, tell him what we need, and we know that we'll receive mercy and grace from him, which will help us in those times of need. Now, sometimes you might be feeling something that maybe you're like, this really isn't that big of a deal. It's probably not worth God's time. It's so small. But that's not true. And a lot of times, society, we tend to downplay the pain that we feel. Maybe there's memes circulating that minimizes our pain because, hey, there's somebody else out there who's experiencing more pain than you are. But we don't believe that, because all of our pain, it matters. And it matters to God, so we can bring that to him. Now, I've told you guys a little bit about my life group experience in middle school and how a big thing for our group was praying together and sharing prayer requests. Our leaders always made sure that we had time for that we would leave time for that. And everything was on the table to be shared. Anything from family pets to drama that was happening in school to arguments with parents and everything in between. Our smallest little things to our biggest struggles, it was all open to be shared. And I knew our leaders cared about us because they cared about even those little things that maybe now looking back feel like they were so insignificant, so little, but they never treated it like it was insignificant. And that's the same with God. Nothing is too little that we can't bring it to him. If you love and you care about someone, you care about what they care about, even if it's something that you wouldn't care about without them, right? So this past weekend was Easter, and my parents came into town, and I love getting to spend time with them because they live far away. It takes me a full day if I'm going to drive there. So normally I have to fly. And because I love my mom and I love getting to spend time with my mom, I'm going to do puzzles with her. Same thing I feel towards you guys. I love you guys. I love getting to hang out with you. So the thing that you love, I want to hear about it. And you can tell me about whatever it is. If you like playing Minecraft, I don't guarantee I'm going to understand it all, but I will listen to you talk about Minecraft for however long you want to talk about it. If you love playing basketball or maybe doing gymnastics or you ice skate or whatever it is that you enjoy, even if it's not something that I've ever done, I love to hear about those things and I love to watch those things because I love you guys and I care about you guys, and so I care about the things that you care about. And God cares for you even more than I do. Even more than your parents, even more than your small group leaders. God cares about you guys even more. And so he wants you to come to him with everything that you have. And that's even with our pain too. If something is hurting you, if something is making you sad, like I want to hear about that too. I'm not just here to have fun with you guys, to, be silly, to play games. Like, yes, I love getting to do that as well. But if there's something that is making you sad, like, I'm here for that too. Like, whatever it is, I'm here for it. And again, as much as I care about those things in your life, God cares even more. Now, 1 Peter 5, 6, and 7 says this: "Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that he may exalt you at the proper time, casting all your cares because he cares about you." This requires some humility to it. Pride might keep us from asking God for help because maybe, again, we think, oh, this is little. I can figure this out myself. I don't need his help. Or maybe we're in denial a little bit about how bad things really are. It's fine, I'm fine, everything's fine. Like, anybody said that recently? I know that I have. Like, we try and hide that we need this help. But he's not fooled. He knows. And when we humble ourselves before God, when we recognize that we need him, he's right there. He's right there for us. And all we have to say is, hey, God, this is what's on my heart. In humility, we can cast all of our cares on him. It doesn't say just some of our cares. It doesn't say only cast the big things on him. It says we can cast all, every single one on God because he cares about us. And how cool is that? That the God, the creator of all things, has enough love for you and for me that he takes the time and attention to see us, to hear us, and to care about the things that we care about. God wants to hear from you. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to figure out what you're going to say before you say it. He just wants you to come right to him, and whatever you have, lay it before him. Now, we have just a couple of minutes before we wrap up, and so I want to take some time to do this. It might be uncomfortable for some of you guys who maybe don't like sitting in quiet, or maybe who haven't had an opportunity to practice prayer. But we have just a couple of minutes, so I'm going to ask that you guys all be quiet and have a conversation with God. Whatever is on your heart, whatever is on your mind, just lay that before him. Thank him for who he is, for what he's done for you. Lay those sins that you've been struggling with at his feet. Ask him for help in the areas that you need help. And then after a few minutes, I'll wrap us up in prayer. Hey God, thank you for your great love for us. Thank you for how you care about the things that each one of us cares about, God. That you're willing to spend your time and attention on the things that are on our hearts. I just pray that as we dive into the series on prayer, God, would you teach us how to pray? Would you show us how to have a conversation with you, Lord? Because that really is what builds on our relationship. So I just pray that over these next couple of weeks, we would learn how to communicate with you, that you would make yourself known to us through prayer, that we would be able to experience you in new ways, God. Thank you for making yourself available to us, that we can come into your throne room and lay whatever is on our hearts and minds at your feet, knowing that you're listening and that you care and that no thing is too small for you. God, thank you for this time together, and thank you for the ability to gather here, whether in person or online. We are so grateful for the opportunity to dive into your word and to pursue a deeper relationship with you. I pray this all in your name. Amen. All right, you guys. Thanks for coming. I'm glad that you guys are here. And again, if there's anything you guys need prayer for, a big piece of prayer is that we get to do it together. Like, it's not something that's always by ourselves. So if you guys ever need prayer, you guys can come talk to me. You can text me, email me, however you want to communicate. Send me memes to try and communicate your prayer requests. I'll try and figure it out. It's great because God already knows. But however you guys need prayer, I'm here for you guys in that. So I love you guys, and we will see you next week for life groups. I will be at the door with your Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Don't worry about it. And if you guys can stack your chairs, that'd be great. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys.